Welcome to the South Glens Falls Workplace Violence Prevention Initial Training for Staff and Employees. I'm Mickey Jones, Safety Coordinator from BOCES. If you have questions regarding this presentation, please contact Flora Covey, the Director of Personal Development. What is workplace violence? Any physical act or an act of aggressive behavior occurring in the workplace where a public employee performs work-related duties is examples of physical violence. Any verbal or physical attempt to threaten or inflict physical injury upon an employee. Any intentional display of force which gives an employee reason to fear or expect bodily harm. Intentional wrongdoing and non-consensual physical contact with a person that causes injury. There is some overlap with the harassment policy for this. Sometimes it could be a violation of both. Additionally, stalking an employee to create fear or harm for an employee's physical safety and health. The Workplace Violence Prevention Program for public employees has been around for several years. Included in this regulation are state agencies, county, city, town, and village governments, fire departments, police departments, any public authority, public benefit corporations. School districts have now been included in this regulation. We have always been exempt in the past. They are now also including BOCES in this regulation, New York City Public Schools, VOTEC programs, County Vocational Education, and any other government agency or instrumental policies regarding to public employees. As part of the regulation, the district worked with union representation for all bargaining units, including the CSEA and the South Glens Falls Teachers Association, to identify potential areas and job duties that place employees at risk of being exposed to workplace violence. In addition to listing job duties, we also examined policies and procedures that the district currently has in place that address workplace violence, things like our existing Code of Conduct and Board of Education policies. In addition to identifying potential areas of workplace violence, we also as a district had to examine our hierarchy of controls, which are the methods of ranking control measures to safeguard or protect our employees. The first step was looking at engineering controls. Engineering controls are used through physical changes to the workplace, identifying what we physically have in place to protect our employees, things like swipe card access, lighting around a building. The second thing that we also looked at was workplace controls or workplace practices, things that we can do to reduce workplace injuries by having policies or procedures. Examples would be things like check-in procedures, looking at itineraries to make sure people aren't working alone. The last resort is looking at personal protective equipment. Is there something that we can do to help protect an employee from a workplace violent incident? An example would be a spit shield in an IEP, or things like bite sleeves for students who we know are biters. All employees have the right to know what jobs or tasks have identified as having potential risks while at work. The link above lists the identified risks that the district has put forth along with hierarchies of control. Please make sure that you look at this link. This is also available on the district's homepage, which will show further in the presentation of how to get there. In addition to an employee accident report, you may also be required to fill out and report a workplace violent incident. This form is available in School Front. To get there, go to the district bookmarks, look at the HR tab, look under School Front, and you will see Employee Workplace Violent Incident Report. This must be filled out by any employee who is experienced workplace violence. Even if you filled out an accident report, this report must also be completed. This is the form that you will fill out regarding a workplace violent incident. Please complete all fields, make sure that you generate a preview, add any comments, sign in the red box, sign and submit. Information that will be needed is the date of the incident, the time of day or shift where this happened, the location where the incident occurred, please be as specific as possible. Provide a detailed description of the incident, including the events that led up to the incident and how it ended. Names and job titles of any involved employees. Names and other identifier and job titles of involved other individuals. Please keep in mind that if this involved a student, please do not record a student's name on this form. An example that you would use would be 4th grade boy, 3rd grade girl. Please do not use identifying information, as this information will again be reviewed by multiple people. The nature and extent of the injuries that arose from this incident if you were hurt, the name of any witnesses, and any additional detailed information regarding about this incident. What happens after an employee fills out a workplace violent incident report form? After filling out the form in Schoolfront, the incident report is received and reviewed by your supervisor and/or principal. The incident report is received and reviewed also by the Director of Personnel. The Director of Personnel will assist in conducting an investigation. The Director of Personnel discusses remediation factors or what efforts can the district do to prevent this from happening in the future. The Director of Personnel will communicate the outcome back to the employee who initially filled out this report. However, sometimes you'll only hear that the issue has been resolved due to the nature of personal information that may be listed in a report. As mentioned previously, all of this information is also included on the district's website. When you go to the website, under Menu, Staff Resources, you'll see a South Glens Falls Workplace Violence Prevention Program. Hitting that link will show you what records we reviewed to gather this information. You will see the identification of risks and the mitigation factors. You will also have links to filling out your violent incident report forms. Violations of the Workplace Violence Prevention Law. After a reasonable opportunity is passed and the employee or their authorized representative still believes that there is a serious violation in the Workplace Violence Prevention Program, or there is an imminent danger to employees, the employee or their authorized representative may submit a written request for an inspection with the New York State Department of Labor Public Employee Safety and Health Division. Another stipulation of the Workplace Violence Prevention Law is that no employer can retaliate against an employee because an employee exercised their rights to report an incident of workplace violence. The goal of the district is to have a safer place for employees to work. This concludes our initial training on Employee Workplace Violence Prevention Program. If you have questions, please contact Flora Covey, the Director of Personnel, at the number or the address listed on your screen. Thank you for your time.